Hello everybody. Okay, so it is the same day of the video I did earlier. It is Monday, September 14th, 2020 at 6:40 p.m. here in beautiful South San Francisco, California. I had a very good day today. Like I said I would do. I went panhandling to get some of the items that I needed, and it was a really wonderful day. And I want to, I'm going to show that gratitude by showing what I've got today, because somebody said to me, or somebody okay, let me tell you what happened. So I went out at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I went to Walgreens over here first, literally right next door. And I was there for a little bit. I got a little bit of money, and then but not too much. I thought, well, you know what, maybe there's going to be more action down at the grocery store. So instead of going to Lucky, I headed down to Safeway, like I said I was going to do, on Chestnut. And it turned out to be great. I was there for a little while. I actually bumped into a former associate or associate of mine, a homeless friend of mine, and there I got the bulk of the items I was going to make for dinner. Now there's a very strange set of circumstances coming out here that I really don't know what the hell to make of. I hope. Anyway, so at Safeway, I did not end up with a lot of food there. I got the bulk of what I was going to get, though. I ended up with like $36 though, and $37, something like that. And I bought food with all of it, pretty much. And there was a guy that actually was really, really cool. He came out and he started kind of asking me questions like, how long have you been in this situation? And I was like, well, actually, because I could tell, he assumed, I'm sure, that I was homeless. So I was like, well, actually, I just got housing, and I'm having trouble with like food, making things kind of keeping things afloat right now because of my GA, which just got interrupted, and I'm waiting for that to get reinstated. So, that's why I'm out here today. And he's really cool. He asked if he could pray with me, and I was like, are you kidding? You're talking to Mr. Prayer. Like, let's do it, like right here, right now. And he had a wonderful extemporaneous prayer. And then a woman came up to me who I had met before panhandling at Burger King. And I didn't recognize it right away. I was like, I know you from somewhere. And she asked me to pray for her name. Her name is Lydia. She has a sister that's 97 years old, and she asked me to pray for her. And this is exactly what she asked me last time. She handed me a $20 bill. Very nice woman. I got an immediately very nice vibe off her. Anyway, so I put her name down I started keeping a prayer list again. I used to, back when I lived on Maple Avenue, I used to keep a prayer list, like churches do, they're praying for. And so I said, I was like, this is the time to start that right then. I also said right then, immediately, I also did say a prayer for her, because I do that. I was in the habit of, when I was homeless, doing that, making sure I did that so I wouldn't forget. So I wouldn't, because, I don't want to be like one of those people that's like, oh yeah, I'll pray for something, and then you don't do it. I know that a lot of people do that and they don't give it a second thought, but for a guy like me, like for religious people, like, that makes us feel like shit. You know what I mean? So like we try to avoid doing that. And so I got in this habit when I was homeless of whenever somebody asked me to pray for them, or for someone on their, for someone they knew, I would do it immediately right then. So that way, at least if I had forgotten after that, I had at least done it. And so I did that. And I also wrote her name down on my prayer right then. It was steno pad with me, and I wrote down her name. And it's in my steno pad in my bedroom right now. Because I think she's a wonderful person. I mean, I just get a good vibe off her, and I definitely don't want to forget. Definitely don't want to forget. And too, when you run into generosity like that, let's say, you know what I mean? That also too, if you're like hoping to get alms and somebody like comes up with a $20 bill when you're getting nothing, that's like, you know what I mean? She's like, here's a prayer, don't forget this one. And you're like, I won't. That's pretty cool, lady. Thank you very much. You know what I mean? So I really do appreciate that, Lydia. If you happen to see this, I just want to let you know, and this is some of the stuff you helped get me today, and God, the Lord and I really do appreciate it, and bless you. All right, so here's the thing. So one of the things I definitely wanted to get was a pot roast. See, my head is so, I don't even know if I already mentioned the big deal with this pot roast that I came home with. I'm 90% sure, and it's nowhere to be found in this apartment, and no one else that I know of has a key to this apartment. I'm 90% sure. Okay, the only thing I can say in my defense is, do I look like the type of person that has their head that far up their ass that they forget things like that? I do absentmindedly forget things, like everybody, from time to time, you know? But not things that, like, I'm paying attention to that are really important, that, like a pot roast that I was looking forward to make, right? Like in my pressure cooker, you know, I was conscious of, like, was I dropping anything on the way home? You know what I mean? And I remember how that pot roast was situated in my bags as I came home. It couldn't have fallen out. So like that's off the list. This pot roast didn't just up and disappear. I even searched in like the bathroom cabinets, because you know how like sometimes you're on the phone or something like that and you're absentmindedly like maybe you put it up on a shelf like in with the towels or something. I even looked there. I don't know where this pot roast went. It came in this apartment. Like I said, I won't say 100% sure, because I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't paying the kind of attention to this pot roast that you would pay if you knew that it was going to be missing later, like, or could be missing later. I'm about 90% sure that I walked in with this pot roast, which is pretty friggin' sure. Anyway, it's not here. It's not here. It's the only thing that's missing. The only thing that's missing. Anyway, so that's weird. Stay tuned. I'm sure there's going to be more about the pot roast. Either that or there's not. It's either, I've decided there's either two things happening with this pot roast, okay? It's either missing to make me anticipate some kind of a surprise later that's not coming, and it's designed to really just impact me as a stressor, or it most certainly is going to be a surprise, and even if it doesn't come immediately tonight or tomorrow. Okay? Those are the options in my mind as I see it. What do I think the most likely option is? That the pot roast is gone and we'll never see or hear from it again. That's what I think the most likely option is. Because that's what, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's, if this happened, you know, yeah, that's the most likely option. Even though it is very weird and unexplainable how the pot roast got out of this apartment. That is unusual. So I've never had something like that happen before. So that right in and of itself makes the circumstances a little bit different. And would be a reason why we would see or hear from the pot roast again. Because, you know what I mean? Because if it had just fallen out of my cart, like, there would be more circumstance to sort of support that by now. And it's almost the opposite. So, we'll see what happens with the missing pot roast. You know, send out a search party for the white on white pot roast. That's a Tin Men reference. If you've never seen the movie Tin Men, watch it. It's really funny. Danny DeVito and Richard Dreyfuss. All right. So what we have here is that we spent $36.17 at Safeway, and I got home, I took a nap for a couple hours, I woke up, and I was like, you know, I still don't have dish soap, and I wanted donuts. I really wanted donuts. I still don't have the donuts, by the way, so, you know, that's all right, though, because I got some cookies to compensate for it. But anyway, I was like, you know, I want to do laundry. But the thing that got me out the door to go Panhandle again for a second session quickly in the afternoon was maybe to get some donuts or something like that, like some ice cream. Well, I ended up with like $9 and a little bit. Somebody gave me some food as well. So I got some cookies at the dollar store. I got some cookies, a couple packages of cookies. I needed some shampoo, so I got some shampoo body wash stuff. It's all in one, so that's good. Takes care of that. I got some pancake syrup because I was out of pancake syrup. And then I got some, margarine spread that I can use for the pancake syrup, so that way I don't dig into my butter, which I often use for cooking. All right. So this was, $1. That's good. So this is like my spread for the pancakes, basically. Ajax. I was sitting there dithering over like which dish soap do I want to get. I do stuff like that, and I have a good time over it too. I love like grocery shopping is my favorite kind of shopping, even if it's like low end, dollar store stuff. Like if there's a choice over stuff, I'm sitting there like, well, do I want the 14 ounce or the 16 ounce? Is this the concentrated, or this is Ajax, but this stuff is Dawn. Now we all know Dawn is like the king of dish soaps, because like not all dish soaps. Any of you wash dishes and use stuff and pay attention know that like dish soaps are not created equal. Some of the shit you need to use like half. When you do a load of dishes, you got to use like a quarter of it to really get something that's going to take the grease off the dishes. I mean, so Dawn, you need like a little, and the whole friggin' suds for days and degreases everything. So like just like detergent, laundry detergent. Tide is expensive, but it's worth it. It's worth it. You spend your money well spent on Tide, okay? Because cheap laundry detergent is a fucking disaster. All right, I don't mind if it's cheap and it works, but I also don't feel like experimenting a ton of times to find the right, to find the cheap but adequate laundry detergent. Like maybe I'm not saying I never will, but right now in my life, I'm not trying to do that really. I mean, which I don't know, because this would be the best time to do that, because I've been wearing dirty clothes and have dirty laundry for like God knows how long now. I do have money right now to do a load of laundry, so that'll get me. So in my next video, I'm gonna have clean underwear and clean clothes on. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that wonderful? See, the difference between me though and a lot of YouTubers is I just admit it. Some of those fuckers are wearing dirty clothes too. They just like they don't want to say it, because you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to make all those people comfortable by saying, you know what? I'm wearing dirty fucking clothes right now, and I look pretty darn good doing it. And so do you. So don't worry about it. You don't have to lie. Because then we, you know what I mean? We just create a whole bunch of drama. We're good at that as humans, right? Okay, so here we go. Here's what I got today. Here's the bounty. Here is my drugs right now. And I'm very, very happy to have it. Okay, so a loaf of buttermilk built, because I don't have any bread right now. So another thing I was dithering over. I'm like, ask the guy, do you have any 2-for-1? I'm gonna see what the 2-for-1 is, because I don't like the loaves that are like, you know what I mean? That loaf that's like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, what do you? It's like a fucking hors d'oeuvre bread. You know what I mean? No. So I need something like a little bit more like that. Something like that's at least gonna be like my hand. Maybe even like a little longer would be good. I like over that. So we have that, and there's enough slices. There's not like 9 slices. So you get to look around on the shelf with all the breads, see what the promo prices are, see what's getting ready to go. They're trying to get rid of it and stuff, and they'll give you 2-for-1. They didn't really have a lot of great deals on today. Lucky's has great deals on bread. They're always trying to get rid of shit, and that's something I need to keep in mind. I need to go up there and do Lucky's when I need to get bread. But today we didn't do too bad. I'm happy. There is a lot of slices in there. It won't be gone in like 2 days. All right. By the way, if your intake of bread, your consumption of bread varies, keep it in the refrigerator at the very least. If it really is not at all consistent, keep it in the freezer. Slices of bread defrost very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. So you can keep it in the freezer, even if you want to have bread ready to make a sandwich. Bob taught me this, my old roommate. Because we didn't, back when I was there, and especially me on drugs and not having consistent eating habits, I ate consistently, but I didn't always eat the same things consistently. So if I was eating sandwiches maybe this week, it doesn't necessarily mean I would be eating them next week or whatever. So things like bread, he loved bread though, but another story. Anyway, though, so we ended up doing is keeping bread in the freezer. It keeps for a long ass time, and when you need it, it's very quick. If you need to, you just throw it in the microwave if you need to, or just wait a few minutes, or it's not that long really, and it will defrost. If you need to have it quicker, keep it in the refrigerator. It'll last longer, because bread does not last very long sitting on the counter. You need to eat it in that week. All right. somebody got me some chicken, roasted chicken, dark, hot 8 count today. That's really good because guess what? Now that my roast has fucking disappeared, God knows what, if it doesn't show up with a hot boy knocking at my door with it cooked, which I hope it does, that'd be fucking like, that could be the best possible outcome. But if it doesn't, this is what I'm gonna have for dinner. And it looks pretty good. I already had a couple legs from it. It's pretty nice. A nice guy got me this when I was at Safeway on the outside there. All right, I'm trying to do this quick so the stuff that's cold doesn't get, like the milk right here. Gallon of milk. I bought a gallon of milk because I was out of milk entirely. All right. I can put this back in the refrigerator actually now. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, and this too I can do. I can do. See if there's anything cold to get out of the way. All right. The cheapest butter they have. I was gonna get 2 of these if I, because I go through, when you cook and you go through a fair amount of butter often. I'm no exception. So I want that's why I wanted to get the spread and this, so that way I'm not digging into this. And plus, sometimes you're a little bit more flexible. I don't like to put recipes that call for butter. I don't like to put fucking shit like this in there. This is fine for some pancakes for now. Trust me. I'm a little bit about having to, eat pancake syrup. That's not real maple syrup. I can do it. I can hang with that. But I'm like, there's an eye on this for someday. We're going to do it right. You know what I mean? But we don't have the money right now to do it right. So we're doing it. We're doing it. We got it. All right. So let's see. Well, let me be right back. I'm going to take these over there and we'll be back. Let me just say, one of my biggest pet peeves is having a shiny face on camera. I friggin' hate that. It drives me crazy. The only thing I can do, the next best thing I can do is bitch about it on camera. Now I feel like I'm okay. Because now I feel like, you know what I mean? At least I know I've got a shiny face. And you know what I mean? It's like, he knows, he's got it covered. All right, this isn't the normal him. So my ego is all satisfied now. It's fine. All right. Somebody bought me 2 sandwiches at the Walgreens. This is Cajun pita and a turkey and cheese pita. All right. Yeah, well, I mean, okay, if I'm gonna hold it up, I guess, there you go. Turkey and cheese pita. Now I know, by the way, I didn't have my coffee this morning. I was thinking you were looking at my sign and it was backwards. Now I know that, when you watch the video, it actually looks like the way it's supposed to. So you don't have to read it backwards. Who knew, right? Oh my God. That would be pretty shitty, for an Apple product. You're buying an iPad and it's all great, but the problem is when you're doing the front cam, everything's backwards. Oh well, maybe we'll eventually take care of that down here in Cupertino. Shit went to hell after Steve Jobs died. I swear it disgusts me. All right. Actually, a lot more people are living happier lives now that Steve Jobs is not around, tearing them apart every day. All right. Toilet paper. I don't care. Just make it work. But they did. Ask Woz. All right. Burritos. Now, when we do breakfast burritos, and I'm not knocking, because sometimes when you get donated stuff, we all know, right? Nowadays, people know, hey, it's not cool to donate expired shit. So we don't see much of that anymore. But you will get tortillas that are like pastry, flaking, falling apart. You know what I mean? Where they're where you can sit there and go, and it will snap, you can karate chop it. So we have some tortillas that are, Peter's like, fuck you, buddy, you fucking, entitled motherfucker. Well, I wanted those damn donuts. Ugh. So we have these for burritos, that's cool. If I don't use them all and they get stiff like that, or they're gonna break, I'll just donate them. All right. Cookies, because sometimes you get sometimes you need a sweet thing. I couldn't get ice cream today, so I got some cookies. got some lemon cream cookies and 2 things of iced oatmeal, because I like iced oatmeal. Right? I mean, you probably can figure that out, right? I mean, at least you knew that I didn't hate iced oatmeal cookies. Like, 2 of these and only 1 of those, you know? So you can probably guess, right? Like that he may like lemon cream, but not as much as those iced oatmeal cookies, obviously. Or maybe his man wants iced oatmeal, and that's why he bought them, because I would do that too. You know, I'm an old school type of wife, man. It's like you gotta stand by your man and put your man first. That's the way I am. And I don't care if Hillary Clinton hates me for that or whatever, but I'm doing it. Actually, you know what? Bullshit. She actually very much did that. Like, I don't care what she says. What reality that, you know, the reality that bears out is she did exactly stand by her man. She didn't necessarily do it in the kitchen baking cookies and making teas, but she did it, you know, as far as political wives are, that's what she did. And she got her own little something too, you know, obviously. But like, you know, let's face it, it was always, I mean, we knew who's king shit in that family. You know what I mean? As much as Hillary is too, she still wasn't the fucking president. And she still did not, you know what I mean? Her career still, until they were both, you know what I mean? Until they were Billary, which they were Billary earlier on, but until they were really Billary, like, I mean, really like Secretary of State and Senator, you know what I mean? Hillary Billary. Until then, you know, it was definitely all about just Bill. You know what I mean? And Bill and her, like, you know, her little cute political career and stuff like that. I'm sorry, Hillary. I don't mean to. I love Hillary. If Coulter and I were not getting married and you were single and I were heterosexual, in fact, screw that. Even if I'm not heterosexual and Coulter was in there and you were available, I would still marry you. You are the shit, girl. You are fucking awesome. I am such a Clinton fan. You know what I mean? I don't care. You could have deleted 30,000 of the worst fucking emails in the world, and I don't care. Just like Trump supporters, I would stick by you, girl. Okay? Because isn't it about time? Isn't it about time that, you know, some Democrats supported their candidates like that? But the thing is, we don't have to do that, people, because you know what? Everyone's got some shit, but we don't have to. We don't have to worry about doing that. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that some of those Republicans, you know, are throwing up privately, and they're still fucking supporting Trump. Come on. At least you don't have to do that shit. Anyway, so somebody got me hand wipes, which is awesome. It wasn't on my list, but like, I always appreciate wipes. It's like buying wipes for Adrian Monk. I love it. Thank you. Okay. A water. I'm thirsty right now, actually. I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna drink it, and I'm gonna wonder where the fucking pot roast went. Like, seriously, where the fuck did that go? Okay. Garlic. 2 cloves of garlic. Not cloves, but, you know, whatever the hell that, I always forget. Like, it's a flower of garlic, whatever they call that shit. You know, I used to know these names. I used to be, you know what I used to know? Sebastian Maniscalco talks about this. I got 2 of these babies here. Being in the grocery store, I feel like, you know what is really offensive to me right now? Is that, like, I know I'm not on drugs, and if I were never a drug addict, like, I wouldn't even give it a second thought. But being a drug addict that is sober, I hate the fact that I have all this energy, and looks like my face is sweating, and like, I'm like, you know what? He looks and sounds like he just did a fucking line in the bathroom. He's doing a video, and I'm like, that is so offensive to me because you know what I mean? I worked so hard, and I've not been. I'm like, God damn it! And now it's like, now I'm talking about it, and people are like, my friends are like, maybe he did. Well, you know, he seems to be protesting very loudly there. You know, but anyway, no, it's like, I don't know. I'm having a fun time. I'm really having like, wow. I mean, everything is more intense now. I mean, like, everything, okay? Like, my libido is up, like, which is incredible, because usually, like, people that are on drugs, one of the things that when we all sober up, we all just kind of like, you know, in fact, it creates a problem, typically. like just a little. I'm gonna do this and then I'll talk about that. Okay. So we got the sandwiches here, and then because I'm gonna get back to that. That's cool. We got the dish soap here, which is Ajax, which I have experience with Ajax, and it is not Dawn, but it is good. So it was the best choice with the volume, considering volume, price, and availability. This was the best choice. I feel like Ajax. Okay, with 20% extra. All right, and then 2 onions. I was gonna get 3 onions. I actually had 4 onions, and then I had to put them back to make the price be right at the register. I put the donuts back, and that still wasn't enough. I still had to cut it down, and I whittled it down with an onion. So I got 2 onions. Somebody, the guy that prayed with me outside of the Safeway, in addition to getting me a sandwich and a ginger ale, which was very sweet of him, also got me this fruit, which is going to go in my fruit bowl. I'm very excited about that because I eat fruit. I like this. This is just put a smile on my face. Put it right here. And this, look at this bag of potatoes. It was like $4.99. Fuck yes, real mashed potatoes in our future. Now finally, I'm not doing that Idaho and shit. Actually, Idaho and stuff wasn't bad, but there was something old fashioned. I'm old fashioned that way, and I like it. And I also like to put the potato skins in there because everyone likes those. You know what I mean? That you get it like Claim Jumper and shit like that. We like that. And also, I also like to not puree them, you know what I mean? Something you can beef them up and get a totally uniform texture. I like a little bit of lumpy chunky in there, a little bit, so you can kind of tell that it really does come from a real potato. You know what I mean? Between that and the skins, there you go. I wonder if people did that just to be like, I want them to know that I really did make this from. This is a real mashed potato, not instant. Like that started that whole thing. Wouldn't that be weird? All right. And then, of course, I already showed you this, like the body wash, which is, it's got a nice smell to it. My mom would approve. My mom is really big upon bathroom, toilet products, smelling clean. She doesn't like if the shampoo. It's almost like to her, if the shampoo doesn't actually smell, if you can't smell the shampoo in your hair after you wash your hair, what the fuck's the point of washing your hair? Almost that's the takeaway from my mom about talking about shampoo and washing your hair that you kind of get when you're leaving. Really, it's very important for her to, if I'm gonna spend the time washing my hair, it's not like that. You know what I mean? I'm just poking fun at my mom right now, but no, because my mom's very clean. But she wants the, you know what I mean? She wants the smell of clean. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think I know what she means. Back in the day, there were more people walking around with that clean, you know what I mean, of cheap, clean of toilet products. You know what I mean, Aqua Velva and shit, which has that clean. You know what I mean? And we all know what that smell is. We gotta bring it back. And I think Axe has been trying to do that. So I think we're okay. To tell you the truth, I think honestly, I disagree. I think I smell a fair amount of squeaky clean smelling cheap. Hygiene product smell that smells good every day, all around, and I gotta get back to being one of them too. I probably already am and don't notice it just from from being able to take a shower every day again. I'm sure that probably, you know what I mean? Just how when you don't have that and you don't notice it, you're not as aware of it as the people that do shower every day. Notice that, this is someone that does not bathe very often. Okay, all right. So, there we go. That's all done. I'm going to leave these right here just in the interest of time because we're 29 minutes in, just exactly when I said that at that moment. So everything, sobriety though is, oh wow, it's so awesome. My libido is high, and that is something that I'm going to get even more comfortable. I just feel I don't know why. That is something that a lot of drug addicts, it's a big issue because, let's face it, even if you're not a drug addict, your sex life is really, really, it's a big part of you. You know what I mean? Where it's at is, even for people that are paranoid about sex, for people that are relaxed about sex, for no matter what, sex is big in every human life. And there's a reason for that, obviously. God gave us our sexuality for, not for nothing. And made it a big deal, not for nothing. Obviously, God likes to get laid a lot, or likes us to get laid, or have to think about getting laid, even if we don't get laid, and what to do around getting laid. Clearly. So, but anyway, the point being, though, that, my experience in previous times getting sober, I think, was pretty common for a lot of drug addicts. And that is that you have no sex drive when you first get sober. You know what I mean? It's almost as if like you're not sexual whatsoever, which is a very good, and that works out very, very well when you're new in sobriety, especially if you are in rehab or something, because like you're focusing on, you need to focus on other stuff anyway, and that's perfect. So it works out great. But the problem is often, and in fact, it's almost like it's like a boomerang, because what happens is, and this takes a lot of people out, meaning that's AA speak for relapsing, is that, their sexuality is almost non-existent for a period of time, like maybe like 90 days or whatever. It's different for everybody, and it doesn't pose a problem because it's not even a second thought. And so they haven't made any provision about sex at that point. You know what I mean? It hasn't been an issue. And hitherto, the only way that they knew how to deal with their sex life is, in the context of their old life, using, drinking, or whatever. Most addicts, like I myself included, up until the time in fact, you know what? I was going to say up until the time that, and I might explain my attitude on this later. I have not had sober sex in like over 20 years. Dead serious. I was one of those people that not only that I had not have sober sex, that I wouldn't even have sex if I couldn't use during it. You know what I mean? Like, using during sex was just as important as the sex itself. Like, because of, like, literally, like, the immediate stimulation of taking the drug while having sex. And also, just the strong habit and association itself. It was just hard not to do. I couldn't do it. I had too much anxiety around it. And so the weird thing is that now, like, I'm not worried about it. Like, and of course I'm gonna have sober. I've been so, honestly, if I can just be candid, like usual, I've been so fucking horny since I've gotten sober, and like have been jerking off like so much that like it's almost like too much. But the cool thing is that like I'm glad, because like I'm not, you know what? I mean, I'm not doing stuff like, I'm not going online to hook up. I'm not doing reckless stuff with my sex life, and this is really important. And this is why the Holy Spirit is like has made me so horny. Like, honestly, during my early sobriety this time, is because the lesson that needs to be learned, Justin, is like, you need to make sure that you are like responsibly acting on your sexual urges. You know what I mean? And because that can, guess what? Like I just said, take you out and relapse you. You know what I mean? And in this case where I'm engaged, honestly, like, so there's that in there, and that works out perfectly. I'm like, oh wow. You know what I mean? Like I mean, my husband GB is away right now. He's in the Navy. Yeah, I was reminds me of Waiting for Guffman when Christopher Guest is like, my wife Bonnie, I buy all of her clothes. Like, he's clearly a big homo. You know what I mean? And like no one ever sees his wife Bonnie. She's like, you know what I mean? She's like absent, or like never shows up in the movie, and apparently she is, and he buys all of her clothes. And then, like, it's just, oh God, I love Christopher. I'm just a little side detour real quick for Christopher Guest mockumentaries. He doesn't like to call them mockumentaries, so I probably shouldn't. He's kind of a prick in real life. Unless he's in character for an interview I saw with Charlie Rose, he is a little bit of a dick in real life. I'm very surprised to see that. Christopher, but you know what? You're still Christopher Guest and Jamie Lee Curtis's wife, and anyway. So our husband, sorry, you do a really good gay guy though, Christopher Guest. I swear to God, if I didn't know, and I met Corky, I would, if I didn't know. Of course, you are an actor, so maybe you do get, maybe you like a little bit of the pole and the hole. That would not be surprising for that field at all. So who knows? I'm not saying, it's just, yeah, who knows? Maybe, you know who may know? Tom Cruise might know. He's not telling. Anyway, so let's go back to my sexuality, though. And that is, the Holy Spirit, though, yeah, has been like, has definitely been kind of placing a little, but not too much, not more than I can handle, which is weird because like the Holy Spirit will do that. Absolutely. My whole life story is the Holy Spirit placing more demand on me than I can handle for the immediate good at the time. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, I'm kind of floored that like, you know what I mean? That like the Holy Spirit is placing like sexual burdens on me that don't result in me taking an undesirable behavior to satisfy, resolve, or whatever. That's kind of a first. So we're good. We're good on that. Like sex is great, but that's kind of new because normally, like right now, my sobriety, I'm like 40-something days in. There wouldn't be very much sexuality going on with me. In fact, you know, there have been times where I remember, I don't know if this has ever happened, I'm sure this has happened to many of you out there. Like, have you ever been, I guess it's kind of like a form of impotence, though. It's like where you want to have sex, but like you don't have, you're not horny. It's almost like for example, like you are intellectually like horny, like you're into the idea of sex, but your body is not like at all turned on. You know? I think I could have gotten an erection, like physically gotten an erection, so I don't know, I wouldn't call that ED. But for example, my body's desire to produce an erection in the first place by being, like, you know what I mean, aroused, would not be present. And that's just as bad. I mean, really, that's worse than maybe even just having straight up ED, where you are like aroused, but you can't get an erection. I mean, that's, you know, at least you want to have sex and you're turned on, at least. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, you know, the other one is like not even having a sexuality at all, but intellectually knowing that you want to have a sexuality. Not very good. And I was on antidepressants at the time, by the way, when that happened. Antidepressants are known for that. That's one bullshit thing. That's why a lot of times people don't like to take them. But if you need to take antidepressants, there's a lot of antidepressants out there. So, you know, experiment. They don't all produce the same side effects. And I would also, just quick cautionary tale, you know, we're in a society that pushes drugs, and drugs are very good and very helpful for a lot of things, but you know what? The worst thing in the world is to be on drugs that you don't need to be on. And honestly, I needed to be on methamphetamine more than I needed to be on fucking antidepressants and stuff like that. Like, honestly, I was just kind of like, you know, you get wooed into the idea, right? You know what I mean? You're around people, like you see it help them, you're like, maybe I need that, and like da-da-da, and then you kind of talk yourself into like a pathology that you don't have, and you know, I mean, and sometimes that can be good. I mean, I was on some antihypertensives that I didn't strictly need, but it did help me. It did help me, like the regimen of being on the, you know, like my blood pressure it wasn't like medically necessary, but my doctor at the time just indulged me, which was kind of cool because it did the right thing. It not only brought my blood pressure down, but the regimen of taking that medication every day and the concern of it actually changed my life, like completely. It did lead to me changing my diet and bringing, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I was one of those guys. He was cool. He wasn't like a Dr. Feelgood at all, but like I wrote those prescriptions. I went in there and I was like, all right, I would like to get on how about a diuretic? I want to take like, you know, I've been thinking about loop diuretics versus like the whatever diuretics, because there's two types of diuretics, and I'm like, I'm going to go on like, you know, I can't remember the names now, and he was like, okay. You know, and like, I was like, how many people that are like, how old was I then? I was like 2014, so what is that? 2014, let's go 2012, 8 years ago, I'm 41 now, let's go 10, 31. How many people are 33 years old on Lasix? Like, come on, that was me. Seriously, 33. And he, you know, the funny thing is that son of a bitch didn't even, you know what I mean? He just, I mean, I know he was a doctor. Of course, he saw the fucking humor in it. He knew exactly that he was not dealing with a hypochondriac, but he knew who he was dealing with, which is because I knew he was a smart guy, and he had to not. I know he saw some humor in that, like, you know, but he just did it. And I to this day, I'm gonna ask him, and he passed away now, and I remember his name. I liked him. I liked him a lot. His name was Dr. Darling. It was Dr. Richard J. Darling is his name. He was in practice with Doctors Fisher and Taradash out here, right across from Peninsula Hospital, or from Mills Peninsula Hospital. Many people that are local, of course, know those guys, those doctors. And Dr. Darling was pretty cool. I really liked him. He, good time during my life. I remember he knew that I lost a lot of weight, and he was like, how'd you do it? When I wrote down that I think when I first got in there or something like that, or I don't remember what it was, but he was like, whoa, how'd you lose the weight? He was really impressed with that, and I told him I did it the way I did it, and it was diet, it was calorie deficit, and I was rigid about that, and I lost, even to the point I was drinking a lot of beer then, and you know what I would do? And honestly, if I was going to drink 1,000, and some nights 1,000 calories in beer, I took 1,000 calories of food out of my diet to make room for it, to make sure that you know what I mean? If I was going to drink, it wasn't going to be an overage of calories, which, fuck it. I mean, you go, that's not healthy. Well, you know what? Drinking, pick what do you want to do? Because honestly, eating the food you were going to eat and drinking 1,000 calories of beer anyway, is that any healthier or any worse or what? Come on, And we're talking about carbohydrates, folks. So it really is if you're committed to drinking the alcohol, that's going to happen no matter what. If that's a given, well then the rest is gravy. I would say if you can do it and you're still trying to lose weight, I would say take the food out and put the fucking alcohol in. You know what I mean? That's what I would tell you to do if you insist on drinking. So anyway, I think I made this video long enough. I think my face is too shiny. I think I'm gonna. If that pot roast shows up tonight with a colder, I'll be very, very happy. If not, I mean, where the fuck did the pot roast go? I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try to pretend or try to hope that I do not hope. I'm not trying to put all my eggs in the basket of colder showing up with the pot roast, because that is the most that's a long way to fall. I don't feel like falling like that. I don't feel like falling that hard. So I'll fall hard for him. I've fallen hard for him, but I don't want to fall hard over the pot roast, him showing up tonight, because that's yet to happen. But he's gonna show up sometime. I'm surprised at some point, but my position on that is never to have it be right now until the moment he does and surprises me. All right. I love you all. Oh, by the way, I promised those people I would do a prayer. Go over all of this right here. So all this food. Do I need, you know what? God, it's cool to pan the camera up and here's the food. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're just gonna have to know that there's food there. I would just love if camera 2, go down on the food. He's got him in the food. All right, that's great. All right. But you know what though? Then this kind of shit wouldn't be cool, because I wouldn't be able to be Ellen, but at the same time talking about jerking off and fucking all that kind of shit, which I can do right here, So because it's real. I like that. I posted a picture of my shit that looked like a dick and balls on Facebook today, and you know what? I'm gonna continue to do that, because I think that's fucking funny. And I know there's a bunch of you out there that looked at that, thought the same thing, and would just I don't have the fucking balls to do that. Well, that's okay. I understand that. I'm not berating you but you know what? That's why I'm doing it for both of us. All right? And I'm gonna continue doing it for both of us. All right. Anyway, I love you guys. Dear Lord, thank you very much for this day. Thank you for friends. Thank you for love. Thank you for your bounty. Thank you for your spirit, which fills us and shows us what to do and makes us aware of everything that is so great in your world, and also makes us aware of other people and their needs and what we can do for them, and that they are extensions of us. I appreciate and I'm so thankful for the kindness I experience of other people when I get to feel your love and get to feel like your presence come through them. People I don't even know. That never gets old. That never gets old. Not rich people too, but people that, sometimes like me, they have about as much money as I do, or less, or maybe a little bit more. They're not rolling in dough, and they still help. And that God, I'm so touched by that. That's awesome. That means so much to me. That means so much to me. Because, you know what I mean? Like poor people helping out other poor people. Like, I mean, that's fucking, you know what I mean? How much more meaningful does it get than that? Because we all know what we're going through. So Lord, thank you for the gift of brotherhood and sisterhood and sex and food, the two best things in life, right? You know what I mean? That we all love. Keep my brothers and sisters out there that are using safe. Especially the girl I saw at Walgreens just before I came home. I never saw her before. She looks like a good soul, though. She'll probably never see that. I don't know, but you know what? The Holy Spirit told me to mention her just now. So there's a reason for everything. So whatever your name is, young lady, you look like you're a firecracker. I was very impressed with her enough to remember her to mention her right now. So that means obviously the Lord is too. So you know what I mean? Lord saw something in her, and in Jesus' name I pray, and thank you. Thank you very much. Bless you all, and have a good night. Love you.